Welcome to Grave Deeds, where we unearth the darkest tales of inheritance, betrayal, and the fight for justice when families turn on each other. Tonight, we delve into a chilling saga of isolation, manipulation, and the secret will that tore a family apart. The Hawthorne estate, a century-old beacon of family legacy, once hummed with life. But as matriarch Eleanor Hawthorne's health began to fail, a different kind of silence settled over its opulent halls, a silence that would conceal a grave injustice. Arthur, elder brother, appears concerned. A bit stoic. Clara, middle sister, warm, empathetic, but burdened. Benjamin, youngest brother, initially jovial, but with an underlying anxiety. Arthur, Clara, and Benjamin Hawthorne. Bound by blood, soon to be divided by betrayal.
Bond. James Bond.
Their mother, Eleanor, had recently suffered a series of strokes.
And while she was sleeping, she suffered a stroke.
Her mind, once sharp, was now a fragile echo. Clara, we all loved Mom. We truly did. But Arthur, he always had a way of making himself indispensable. Visual of Arthur holding Eleanor's hand, looking serious. Benjamin, he was the eldest. The responsible one, as he always liked to say. But his responsibility felt more like control. As Eleanor's condition worsened, the decision was made for someone to live at the estate. Arthur, ever the dutiful son, volunteered immediately. Arthur, smooth, authoritative, it was my duty. Mother needed constant care. My siblings, they had their own lives. Their own families. Clara, at first, we were relieved. Arthur was so capable. But then, the calls started getting missed. Visits became difficult to schedule. Mom was always resting or not up to it. Benjamin, every time I tried to call Mom directly, Arthur's phone was the one that rang. He was the gatekeeper. Slowly, subtly, the house became his kingdom. The once open doors of the Hawthorne estate began to close, not with a bang, but with the quiet click of a lock manipulated by a single, calculating hand. Clara, a mom, loved gardening. It was her passion. But Arthur told me she suddenly hated it. She only wanted to watch TV with him. It felt so wrong. Driven by a gut feeling, Clara began her own quiet investigation. She knew her mother's will, drafted years ago, split the estate evenly. But what if Arthur was plotting a different inheritance? Clara, I couldn't shake the feeling. I started documenting everything. Every missed call, every changed appointment. Every time Arthur spoke for Mom. I had to. Benjamin, we were still reeling from Mom's death. But Arthur, ever so efficient, scheduled the will reading immediately. It felt, or rushed. At the lawyer's office, the family gathered. The old, familiar will was expected to be read. Instead, the lawyer cleared his throat and announced a new document. Lawyer, therefore, to my eldest son, Arthur Hawthorne, who has faithfully cared for me in my final years, I bequeath the entirety of my estate and all its holdings. Clara, the room went cold. Arthur sat there, completely calm. Benjamin looked like he'd been punched. Benjamin, everything. He took everything. Arthur, feigned humility. A mother always knew I was the most responsible. It was her wish. The bombshell ignited Clara's suspicions into full-blown certainty. Arthur had manipulated their ailing mother. Now, it was time to prove it. Clara, I had pages of dates, times, excuses. How he stopped us from seeing her. How he managed her medications. But I needed more. I needed proof of undue influence. The footage revealed a disturbing pattern. Arthur's care was a calculated campaign to isolate Eleanor, subtly coercing her into his narrative. Clara, it wasn't just physical care. It was mental and emotional. He was controlling her world, shaping her reality. Benjamin, when Clara showed me the footage, it was sickening. He looked like an angel on the outside, but he was a viper. With Clara's meticulous evidence and Benjamin's newfound resolve, they sought legal counsel. They needed to challenge the will on grounds of undue influence. Lawyer, undue influence is notoriously hard to prove. But your documentation, Clara, especially the video, that's compelling. They needed to establish Eleanor's vulnerability and Arthur's opportunity and motive. This meant bringing in medical experts to attest to Eleanor's cognitive decline at the time the new will was signed. Clara, it wasn't just about money. It was about Mom's dignity. About Arthur making a mockery of her final wishes. Benjamin, we weren't just fighting Arthur. We were fighting for Mom's true legacy. The day of the trial arrived. Family versus family, truth versus deception, all under the scrutinizing gaze of the court. Arthur's lawyer, smooth, confident, a Mr. Arthur Hawthorne, a devoted son, selflessly provided care for his ailing mother. To suggest he manipulated her is an outrageous slander. Arthur's defense painted him as a selfless caregiver, a victim of jealous siblings. He claimed Eleanor was of sound mind and simply wished to reward his devotion. Arthur on stand, a mother made her own choices. She wanted to thank me. My siblings simply couldn't accept her decision. Clara, he was a master manipulator. He made himself sound like a saint, and us like greedy monsters. But Clara and Benjamin's lawyer was prepared. She began with the timeline, painting a clear picture of Arthur's escalating isolation tactics. Lawyer, a Mr. Hawthorne, can you explain why, within weeks of you moving in, Mrs. Hawthorne's contact with her other children plummeted by 80%? Arthur, she was tired. Her health was fragile. The lawyer systematically dismantled Arthur's narrative, using his own words and actions against him. Then came the moment of truth. The video evidence. Clara, the air in the courtroom changed. Everyone could see it. The truth, finally, was laid bare. Benjamin, he couldn't deny it. It was all there. His betrayal, exposed. The jury deliberated quickly. The evidence of undue influence was overwhelming. Judge, based on the compelling evidence of undue influence, this court finds in favor of the petitioners. The new will of Eleanor Hawthorne is hereby invalidated. The previous will, stipulating an equal division of the estate, shall stand. Justice was served. The Hawthorne estate would be divided as Eleanor had always intended. Arthur, stripped of his ill-gotten gains, faced the bitter reality of his exposed greed. Clara, it wasn't a victory we celebrated. It was simply peace. For Mom, and for us. Benjamin, Arthur never spoke to us again. But that was a small price to pay for what was right. The lesson of grave deeds. The case of the caretaker's secret will is a stark reminder, even in the quiet halls of family legacy, betrayal can fester. But with vigilance and unwavering courage, the gravest deeds can be brought to light, and justice, however painful, will ultimately prevail. Thank you for watching Grave Deeds. Join us next time as we uncover more tales of inheritance and betrayal.